Oh, real quick, so I can just kind of differentiate my head. Which is the one that you guys wear when you get skull fucked in front of everybody's families on Thanksgiving all the time?
Listen, they've been wearing the color rush jerseys on Thanksgiving. When they wear the throwbacks, they usually win.
Thank you for differentiating for me.
You're welcome.
All right, number 3, I have the Bengals. I can just see them.
And they went to overtime this year on Thanksgiving. Thank you very much.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert.
I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That
Be
it?
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 122 of Birds vs. Boys, which is technically episode 1 of season 3. We are back, Aiden. We are all the way back. Football is happening. Every single NFL team is in training camp. Things are happening. We actually have a list of items to talk about. We're not trying to rack our brains of things to talk about. Football is here.
I don't like to rush summer.
No.
Especially at my previous job where I worked until 6. So in winter, you walk outside and it's already dark and cold. So I like to appreciate these days. But I'm going to tell you what, when it's 99 degrees in a heat wave and then I see the boys rolling into the training camp, I'm like, all right, let's speed it up just a little bit. I'm about feeling ready for football.
I'm okay to see some leaves falling off the trees. This morning,
Yeah.
I mean, today, we are recording on Tuesday. It was only like 81 degrees. I left my house this morning. It was like 71 degrees. I saw some leaves on the ground. I was like, is that you, football?
The tree right next to my house, the leaves are falling off, which I was like, that's odd for July, but also a sign. It's getting to be that time.
Or the trees are just dying because it's been so hot.
Or there's so many goddamn lanternflies on the thing that it's just
Ugh.
killing the tree. But I want to take it as a positive that football is around the corner.
Well, if this is your first time listening or watching to Birds vs. Boys on our YouTube channel, thank you. Welcome. If you're a returning fan, we appreciate you as always, as we have the last 2 seasons. Just a quick structure update here. So Kmess and Aidan, we are your guides through this chaos of football. Myself, Kmess being the resident Dallas Cowboys fan, idiot, asshole, whatever you want to call me. Aidan being the resident lifelong Eagles fan. We were supposed to yell at each other. We're supposed to curse at each other, but we end up just agreeing on every single topic. So that's that. We never wanted like a Skip and Shannon type show ever, but we wanted like some sort of anger. And then 17 episodes in the first season, we're like, that's not going to be this show.
Technically, there was anger. It was just directed at our teams and not at each other.
Exactly.
So you're correct. Season 1, we started this to be a debate show. And now this is just a friendship, a therapy session for both us and the listeners. And occasionally we sprinkle in talk about football.
That happens every now between analysis and analogies and going off tangents about whatever you want. It happens, but there's a little bit of football.
You're going to get a little bit of everything. So welcome to season 3 of this show.
And some things we can guarantee you this season that we've guaranteed in season 1 and 2 is some awesome guests this season. Whether it be Eagles personalities, Cowboys media people, media or online content creators for our opposing teams, overall national NFL writers, all of those type of guests will be joining Birds vs. Boys once again this season. You might see some repeat guests because Aidan, we've had some phenomenal guests already, and we're going to just add on to that list this year.
I was about to say, just bring them back. They were a hit the first time. Let's play the hits. And just like last year, I think every week we're probably going to have somebody on here whether they're a fan of or reporting on the team that we're playing that week, or just like we said, person we've loved having on before, anything in between, where we have a whole set list of people that we want to bring on, that we've talked to about bringing on, and they're ready to roll just like we are.
And we always seem to fall in love with one another's media personalities.
Correct. Yeah. Well, listen, you know how I feel about the media in Philadelphia. It's just different in Dallas, and I've grown to appreciate it just for what it is, which is like really actually good, educated media.
I lost my hearing there. I couldn't hear you. I went deaf.
that was the funniest. Just like, how is everybody wrong? How is everybody in the situation wrong?
Everyone.
It was fantastic. It was just so
that
good.
Went from 0 to I'm going to stab you in the neck with a knife in about 0.2 seconds.
Oh, yeah. And also, so if you're also new, I also run Philly Fan Life. They'll be associated with Birds vs. Boys this year. Michelle Castellanos, his mom, was going through and liking all of the tweets that were positive in response to the video we posted of that near brawl between the media and Castellanos. And I thought that was really funny.
So great. So great.
Welcome to Philadelphia. Welcome to Birds vs. Boys. Both of our teams are projected to be good this year. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, projected. So I think it was USA Today put out their predictions for the season. It had the Eagles winning the division at 11-7, Cowboys at
no, you guys 10-7, us 11-6.
Yes, sorry, 11-6, Cowboys at 10-7, and being a wild card team. Not outlandish, I don't think.
Congrats to the Washington Commanders on winning the division
with 8 wins.
With 8 wins at 8-9.
I don't know.
I'll be talking about
do
Bryce
think,
Love by week 3.
I do think each team in the division. I don't know. I think the Cowboys may take a little step back. I think the Eagles are going to be better. I think the Giants, I don't know, and Washington should be better. I mean, especially with that
worse.
Defense. Yeah. So
it'd be really hard to be worse.
I think it's going to be fun. Like, I don't think Dallas is just going to run through the division like they did last year.
I was going to say, I don't think anyone could run through the division in the NFC East this year, which is what's great about it. I think every team will improve, even if that's a technicality, like I said, where the Giants mathematically almost can't be worse than what they were last year, especially offensively. So it'll be fun. I think it'll be heavily contested, which would be great for the show. Going to season 3 would be the first time where it's not both of our teams suck or just a runaway, and then both of our teams lose in the first round of the playoffs. So I think it'll be fun this year. And it starts today, technically. Yesterday, if you're listening, training camp, everybody's there. Do we want to talk about the just wildfire of news that came out on day 1 in the NFL?
Yeah, I think
we get to our team.
Yeah, so that's another thing we do. We usually start around the NFL. We'll talk. This is a overall NFL podcast, so tell your friends, tell your family, if they're into the NFL, if they're into football, they can listen to Birds vs. Boys. You don't have to be a Birds fan. You don't have to be a Boys fan. We talk about the NFL as a whole, and that's how we usually start out the show. We go around the NFL, and then we'll dive into some Birds vs. Boys, and we always end the show with one of our famous TikTok. So we'll go around the NFL. Let's start with the big signing, if you want to call it that, down in Tampa, down in the retirement community, with Julio Jones signing with the Buccaneers. Your thoughts on this signing?
I'm just glad I got Julio Jones in fantasy for 1 year and got to experience that. I expect Julio Jones at his prime is what Mike Evans is now. Mm-hmm. And the Bucs have Mike Evans. Mm-hmm. So there's really no purpose for Julio Jones. Like, it'll be cool. I'm sure he's the guy, he'll score like week 1 and be like, oh my God. And then week 6, he'll be like, we'll be doing that thing again where it's like, oh, Julio didn't practice for 3 days straight. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Yep. Oh, he's a game time decision. We're going to find out Sunday at 12:30. You know,
do you think they're gonna try and use him in that Gronk role?
Maybe a little bit, you know, just within the 20s, possibly use the big body.
Even though he seemed to never score touchdowns in Atlanta,
which is hilarious. But that is also Atlanta. There is a giant curse over that city, and there is nothing that Julio Jones can do to stop that.
1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal against the Eagles in the playoffs, and just couldn't get it to him.
Couldn't stay in bounds both times. So yeah, that's kind of just how it goes in Atlanta, but I don't foresee him playing a major role in Tampa. I just think Tampa will still be great with Godwin and Mike Evans. And
Agreed.
This is just a low risk, high reward signing that they can pull off.
I mean, Julio's ring chasing, and I don't blame him.
Neither do I. Yeah, I mean, he deserves a ring.
Absolutely.
He's been great. I think he's probably one of the best receivers of my lifetime, sitting at 27 years old.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't blame him for ring chasing, and I think it's a solid veteran pickup for a team who does these things, and it's worked. So I'm sure he'll make an impact. Will he make impact that he did in Atlanta? No, God, no. But he'll make some sort of an impact, which is kind of what the Buccaneers do. They find these guys who are on their last leg, and this is their last stop.
Yep. And for me, I'm just glad this happened now, so we can separate the Cowboys and Julio Jones, because it's been
Forever.
linked. Is he going to sign here?
Well, he wore their hoodie. Most times it'd
Yeah.
be like, all right, the fans are out of control. He's freaking wearing the Cowboys hoodie.
Yeah. So I'm glad that is no longer in play here, because I had him in fantasy the 1 year too, and I couldn't take that. As a fantasy owner, I would not be able to take that as a Cowboys fan. Is he going to play? That's the reason they moved on from Amari Cooper, because it was the same thing. He did end up always playing through, except when he didn't get vaccinated, but that's here nor there. That's
It's there because he's gone.
Jerry Jones, no, enjoy your quarterback up there, Jacoby Brissett. That was how Jerry Jones opened the press conference today, talking about the players that they did not sign and how big availability is in the NFL. And that was probably the one sane thing that Jerry Jones said all day. He also said something about dressing up a midget. That's going to be interesting. I'm surprised that's not all over Twitter right now. Vince, find the clip. No, he used the word, so I can't. But I'm just glad he has signed. He's moved on, because if the Cowboys had like 1 to 2 bad practices, wide receiving core wise, in
Which
camp,
they might.
which they definitely will, because
Michael Gallup's not. Yep.
And who knows how much, they're not gonna push CeeDee Lamb like crazy in camp. So it's gonna be, a rookie in Jalen Tolbert and TJ Vasher and Noah Brown and James Washington. So that they could have some rough days, but I also think there's other better options out there if the Cowboys are going to sign a wide receiver free agent like Odell Beckham Jr., T.Y. Hilton, Cole Beasley. So there's other names out there I'd be more impressed with than Julio Jones going forward.
You're worried about availability. I don't know. Cole Beasley. He's the guy, It's like run into the same problem that you had.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Odell is still a free agent, it just seems inevitable that he's going back to the Rams. But we're getting closer and closer to the season, and like we said, training camp started. He's still out there. So T.Y. Hilton, another guy, he's like Julio, where it's like, I'm surprised he didn't end up in Tampa. He still might.
Yep. Well, I think it's. Oh, we have the clip from.
Vince found the quote for us. Jerry Jones was his first oral misstep. Ooh, that's an interesting way to phrase things. And remembering late Larry Lacewell, he said he was going to dress up a midget to be next to him. Yeah. I just that is like an out of, how they have all those out of context Twitter accounts now? That just seems like an out of context.
Completely.
The entire thing.
That's Jerry Jones for you.
Yep.
So I think, again, that we're going off topic, and that's what we do. Not off topic, but off the Julio Jones thing. I think you're right with the closer we get to camp, Odell Beckham staying with the Rams for a couple of reasons. One, he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. He's probably not going to be ready until the second half of the season. So he already knows the playbook. He already has the connections with the team, with Stafford. He won me money for getting the first touchdown in the Super Bowl. So
awesome.
He doesn't have to learn a whole new playbook and everything else. He can just, as soon as he's ready to go, he's ready to go.
Exactly. So I just think it's just a matter of time. So, and then T.Y. Hilton, maybe Tampa, just like Julio. But yeah, that's just another classic, just Tampa Bay signing. And we move on, and they'll probably be in the NFC Championship again, and Brady will be there again. And we'll be like, oh yeah, they have it figured out down there.
Yes, they do. All right. So from one veteran moving to a new team to another veteran hanging up the cleats, Chris Carson, the starting running back for the Seattle Seahawks, calling it a career due to a neck injury. the dude was a beast, another fantasy stud when he was healthy, but he did have a lot of injuries, but he was, when healthy, not a running back you wanted to face against.
No, so I did have him in fantasy, so I was always like on top of the health storylines. And I just remember when this happened last year, it was like he was listed as doubtful for the week, which means like, yeah, he probably won't play this week, but that doesn't mean a prolonged absence. And I just remember all the quotes were just like huge red flags. They're like, we don't know about this neck injury. I just remember Pete Carroll coming out and like pretty much saying like, this is not a good neck injury, and for lack of better terms. So I feel like this has been building up for a while.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, they never put him on the full injured reserve for a while last year. And they were just always hopeful that he would make it back. And then eventually they're like, he won't be back this year. And it was just like, it was weird. It was really weird. And now it finally comes to fruition today. He fails the physical, or they release him with a designation of failed physical, and he retires, which is, it's crazy. Like you said, like he was a great running back, and he was like playing per usual last year up until this neck injury, and now his career's over.
And now that, the Kenneth Walker draft pick makes more sense now as well.
Yeah.
Because I think they knew this was coming.
Also,
now
Rashad Penny finally became what they thought he was going to become.
Yep. So Rashad Penny, Kenneth Walker, they'll be the 1-2 punch there in Seattle. And I just don't think they're going to be a very good team anyway this year.
Well, we'll be running the ball a lot.
Yeah, it will. And there's another wide receiver, DK Metcalf. Is he going to be on the move?
A chance of redemption. Reunite AJ Brown, DK Metcalf. I don't know if we'll win a Super Bowl, but we will have the strongest, fittest team in the league. That's for sure.
And the coolest.
Well, and the coolest. Listen, that is my main concern right now. We look cool. But yeah, so you're right. The Seahawks, that I don't expect them to compete, especially in that division. Chris Carson, I feel terrible. He was playing well. Now it's over just like that with a neck injury. I got out of bed and my neck hurt the other day. I can't imagine running and getting hit and tackled playing football with a neck injury.
No.
It feels terrible.
I don't know what the line is yet, if it's even out or anything, but whatever it is,
that'll be a
put your mortgage on the Denver Broncos week 1 against Seattle.
They play each other?
Yeah, week 1, Russell Wilson against Seattle.
And then the Browns play the Panthers.
Yes.
Red zone is I'm going to be glued. They're going to have to get the jaws of life to get me off that couch.
Yes. Yep. I'm very, very getting nervous about football season and very interested now that I have a child. I don't think I can just sit on the couch for 12 straight hours.
You didn't want to think you had 9 months. 9 months to figure that one out and be like, all right, what's my plan?
I don't know. Maybe every Sunday I say I have COVID and I have to lock myself in the basement.
You gotta train the baby. Nap time starts at 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Problem is, it's not terrible because even if she wakes up from the nap, she'll fall back asleep on me and I can put the AirPods in and listen. So, or I just say, listen, honey, it's God's day.
God, the Lord's day.
Yeah. It's my day.
Chris Hansen, the Lord.
Yeah. There's nothing we can do here. I think I'll be fine during Cowboys games. I think the wife will know that's
the 3 hours you get a week, baby free.
Yep.
You don't want the baby around you anyway during the game.
No.
She's gonna learn words in a hurry that you don't want them to learn for a while.
or somehow I'm gonna throw the baby or something, like she'll be on me and then not a good idea. Not a good idea. All right, so we bid farewell to Chris Carson. I don't want to say great career, not a Hall of Fame career, but
disappointing that it came up short.
Yep.
I think it's fair. Let's stay in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of inevitable, Trey Lance is officially the starting quarterback for the 49ers. The brass of the 49ers had a meeting with Jimmy G and said, it's not us, it's you.
We love you.
But we don't. Look at the flowers. Turn around and look at the flowers.
It's not you, it's this other tall, handsome, younger,
It's not
stronger
you. It's just that there's also somebody who's better than you. Maybe.
Maybe.
Like, we don't know that.
No. We have this guy here that kind of throws the ball far, and he played like 7 games in college like 4 years ago.
Yeah, he hasn't played in a long time. I feel like that might be bad. You know, like he was in the COVID year, North Dakota State. Remember they played that like 1 game so he could be showcased?
Yep.
And then he was like, all right, well, we're done. And then he didn't play last year because Jimmy G was the starter in San Francisco. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Is Debo there? That's all I care about. Is Debo playing football? I had so much fun watching him play.
Can you imagine? I'm just waiting for somehow the Eagles pull off a trade for Debo for like a 7th and like Jalen Reagor.
There are not enough words in the thesaurus to describe how insufferable I will be if that. This will go back to a show of anger and debate.
Can you imagine an offense
with Debo?
With Debo, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert?
With Jalen, like, oh, man. I don't know.
You just Oh.
I can't even think about it.
Oh God, yeah, that would be a problem. So I'm not even going to consider that. So yeah, so Jimmy G's out. 49ers. Where should he land? Or let's say, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
I'll throw some possibilities out there.
There are not a lot. He's better than Daniel Jones. Can I just say that? The Giants would never do that, but he's better than Daniel Jones.
And he plays well against our teams.
Yeah.
In the division.
He played in a Super Bowl. Like, he's not that bad. Like, I feel like
he played in a Super Bowl and almost went back to another one this year.
Yeah, when he's in a rhythm, he's not a bad quarterback.
No.
It's just when he makes mistakes, they are so amplified because they're so bad that's what really gets him in trouble. But he's not that bad.
So, all right. Could Cleveland trade for him if Deshaun Watson's done for a long time?
They could.
But
Speaking, we're not going to talk about Deshaun.
We don't talk about Deshaun Watson.
The season's here. Like, you have to figure this out. They put it off for a year and a half. You have to come to a decision.
When is the NFL going to be like, all right, guys, here we go.
This is the episode of New Girl when Jess and Jennifer Beal go after the best man at the wedding, and he can't decide. And they're like, you have to make a decision, man. Goodell. You have to make a decision, man. Is he suspended? Is he not? And for how long? Just decide.
He's at camp right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't know if he'll play or not.
Yeah, that's
just
crazy.
nuts. So yeah, that's a landing spot.
All right. Seattle?
That's the one I thought of.
Mm-hmm. But do they trade him in division?
I mean, I think he sucks, so they could.
Yeah, I guess. Seattle. I know, like he's not going to the Panthers. They've got 2 now.
Yeah. Do they?
He's not going to Tennessee. No Florida team, I don't think.
No.
No New York team.
No
Texas team. Maybe the Texans, but they seem to really like Davis Mills.
If you're Minnesota, like why would you give Kirk Cousins money?
Because they just enjoy giving him money.
It's gross. Like the Lantern Flies. We're just there for no reason. That's the Vikings and that's Kirk Cousins. Just there for no reason.
And their stupid purple jerseys.
Yeah. We're going to do our TikTok tonight is best alternate elements. I think it's funny that Vikings don't even try. They're just purple. Yep. That's it.
We're good.
Yep, purple helmet every day. Same outfit. Same jersey. Doesn't matter.
So, I mean, like, I don't know where else he would legitimately start.
I truly don't know. I do not know. I mean, I think the most likely destinations are Seattle. And then if Deshaun, you got to come to decision man, Watson is suspended, possibly Cleveland.
Vince is saying the Saints. I think they like Jameis. I think they're gonna try and ride with Jameis. The Lions. Lions is possible, but they still.
Possible. They're tied into Jared.
Yeah. I think they're going to go Jared Goff, do or die, and then draft a quarterback next year.
Die.
Yeah.
Not that again, a guy who's not that bad, but in a NFL quarterback class, that will be CJ Stroud and Bryce Love. I think the Lions know what they are doing.
Vince says the Bears. I don't think you can do that to Justin Fields. They get the Andy Dalton thing last year. I think you need to give this kid every option to play every snap.
Yeah.
Whether it be in Chicago or 30 miles out of Chicago now, apparently.
That's another around the NFL headline that we don't have to do. I love how they're just like, all right, we'll put a dome.
Yeah.
Okay.
We will pay, aka the taxpayers will pay $2.2 billion and put a dome
on it so they won't leave. Like, all right.
Cool. I have been to Soldier Field. It is cool. It is like,
is
you know,
I hear mixed reviews. Like the field itself seems terrible.
Yeah, the field is terrible. I was there for a Monday night Bears-Lions game. It was, so the atmosphere was good. And it's just cool that like where it is, right on the water in the city, like everyone walks there. So that was cool. I mean, I don't know what the tailgate scene is and stuff because
So I heard they don't have one.
Yeah, that's because no one drives in.
Yeah.
Everyone gets dropped off or walks. So, not as cool as Wrigleyville. Wrigleyville was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really want to do that before
you get old and have a child and can't do fun things anymore.
Correct. Yes.
Or die.
Before I have to decide how I'm going to spend my Sundays taking care of my child or watching football.
Yes.
Vince says like the Sixers in 30-31.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing of people being like, how are we going to tailgate for the Sixers games when they're in the city? When the fuck were you tailgating Sixers games in January? Like, when did that ever happen?
You would have you'd have much more bar situation to. It's like I've been to games and concerts at Madison Square Garden, New York. There's just 1,000 bars around, and you just hit those, and then you walk over to the stadium.
Oh no, I can't sit outside in the parking lot on a February Tuesday night game
so
against the Charlotte Hornets.
All you motherfuckers complaining about this because of the tailgating, you better be at every fucking Sixers game in the freezing cold tailgating from now until 2031.
Exactly. Yeah, get it in now for those February games when they're playing the Houston Rockets.
Yeah,
at 7:30 on a Wednesday.
So like so stupid. Hate people. I hate people. Yeah, anybody. You know what the tailgating is for Sixers games? Xfinity Live.
Yeah. So now you just have other bars aside from Xfinity Live.
Switch it up.
Oh man,
people suck. So yeah, I think Seattle is makes the most sense. Vince hit it on the head here.
I agree. Speaking of stupidity, our last topic here around the NFL. Giving a guy like $48 million a year and not being sure that he'll actually look at the playbook and might be playing Call of Duty instead. Kyler Murray, congrats on the new contract.
Like they're like, you need to study.
I love this because they were like, you need to study. Do you promise, if you will, if we give you $48 million a year? I'd say yes to everything aside from supporting ISIS for $48 million a year. And even then, I'd have to think twice.
Yeah,
I could put out some pro-ISIS tweets for $48 million and get away with it.
It's just like, I would like my job to be like, can you do the bare minimum? And we'll give you $48 million a year.
We'll pay you. This reminds me, so in the NBA the one time, the Timberwolves weren't sure if they were going to re-sign Andrew Wiggins. And they were like, you got to promise us that you're really going to put the work in the offseason. Can you do that for us? And we'll give you the contract extension. What was he going to say? No. Yeah. So they gave him the contract extension.
Not really
story short, he didn't. Now he's on the Warriors.
It's like, hey, your company, like Aidan. Can you just turn your laptop on? Can you just turn it on every day, please? And we'll give you $48 million.
If you appear green on Microsoft Teams and or Skype, we will give you your paycheck. Deal? All right.
I mean, okay.
The funniest part of this whole thing was the correlation graph that somebody made, which showed the date of the Call of Duty release for that year and then the performances of Kyler Murray. And as we know, the Cardinals really continually have fallen off as seasons go along. But that coincides with the release of Call of Duty because Kyler's over there playing video games, maybe not studying the playbook.
Like, bro, I just, there it is.
Here it is. Here's Kyler Murray's his performances versus the date of Call of Duty. So you can see beginning of the year, that yellow line in the middle. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. Please subscribe on YouTube.
Click that button.
Yep. The 2021 one is insane.
Dude.
Like, that is pretty much. I guess it's not as bad as I thought. He had some bad games overall in 2021. He was dealing with the shoulder too, which is a legitimate reason, not just the 2021 is bad. Like, since there are 2, 4, 6, 8 games past the Call of Duty release, and 6 of them are below the mean.
Can we, whoever makes Call of Duty, whenever the Cardinals are playing the Cowboys, can we just like release it?
Yeah, wait, hold on. When do we play Arizona this year? Because
early, I think.
I think we do. Yeah. Oh man, we gotta. They usually release Call of Duty in November, right around Thanksgiving. If we could, do a pre-release, like if you have money to blow, like say $48 million a year. Oh yeah, we play them October 9th. Could we speed up the release of Call of Duty by 1 month, please?
Do the Cowboys? I don't think they played them this year.
Finally, you guys don't. You played them in the regular season the past 2 years. You played them in preseason. Ooh, man.
You know what'd be funny?
What?
Like Eagles fans just mailing Call of Duty games to his house, finding out where he lives.
I don't have the disposable income to buy Call of Duty for other people, let alone myself. But that
sure
would be funny. I'm sure there are others that will try. So
that would be absolutely hilarious.
That would be great. Well, that is around the NFL as normal. That was supposed to be quick fire, and instead we did it for about 30 minutes. So I think it's about time we get into our teams who reported. It is time. Cowboys, Eagles, back, football. Fantastic.
I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. I'm already angry. It's all the emotions in one. Did you see my tweet today about how I'm feeling?
No.
Vince, can you pull up my tweet about the
like 6 times today? This is I like the one. It was the Dumb and Dumber video.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, that's the one. Oh yeah, I did see. Oh, I was gonna be like, I'm gonna do that for the Philadelphia Phillies.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you. You don't know when, but I'm gonna get you.
Get you.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That's exact. I'm already prepping. That's even if they make the playoffs. When was the last time, Aidan, that a team went back to back in this division?
2004, 2003, 2004 was the Eagles. It was the year that we went to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So it's going on 2 decades, 18 years at this point.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance. Another Dumb and Dumber quote.
So I don't know. Every team is 0-0. You get excited, of course. The pads aren't even on. The cleats are on. We're getting excited, but
yeah, why am I getting my hopes up? I've been down this road 20 times every year.
I mean, the Eagles have become the hot team in the NFL. I feel like everybody's picking to do things this year. Maybe not win the Super Bowl, but win the division. And
that has never, ever, ever worked out for Philadelphia in any sport where people are like, who you need to watch out for? The team that plays in Philadelphia. It always backfires. It has never worked.
The dream team, baby.
Dream
team. Asamoah.
That was the. Did you see that quote on that podcast that Sean McCoy was on with Asante Samuel? Like, yeah, we knew he was cooked from day one. And I was like, awesome. That makes me feel better.
And did you see he kept saying it was Brent Selleck? But it wasn't. It was oh my God. I saw he quote
Clay
tweeted
Harbor.
It. Yes, Clay Harbor quote tweeted it and said it was it was me, it was a skinny post. And then he kept like tweeting underneath. He's like, I was a practice and training camp monster though, to be fair to Nnamdi. He
I
like
like
quotes
the,
an old article where they were like how good of a camp he was having.
I appreciate the self-awareness there. That's kind of funny.
But yeah, I'm happy. I don't want to say the spotlight is off the Cowboys because the spotlight is always American actor.
Yeah, he's actually like an actor now. He's on Broadway and stuff. You guys didn't know that? Namdi? Yeah, he was in that what's that? Sylvie's Love. That was like a big movie.
I knew he was like, he's like one of those like smart guys. Like,
yeah, I like my guys dumb and good at football.
Yeah. Just give me one thing, like Booby from Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
You want to win? Put Booby in. Let me spin, coach. Let me spin. So yeah, no, I'm happy that kind of the trends are talking about the Eagles and they're the cool, fun, hot team right now. They're signing AJ Brown.
We are cool.
Doesn't take the spotlight off Dallas because it seems like every goddamn day.
Put the spotlight on yourselves. That's another thing. Should we do our storylines, or do you want me to pull up the quote that I had from Cowboys camp that stuck out to me? Because
why don't you pull that up?
All right. Well, Vince has it. It's in the Birds vs. Boys. Yeah. So you guys are just a quote machine, and I love it. We talk about like taking the pressure off of the Eagles are the hype team, but the Cowboys just like quote themselves back into the spotlight for all the.
I want me some glory hole.
So, and of course, that was another one. Cowboys believe their cap space is quote unquote dry powder that they may not necessarily use this season. They see question marks on this team as opportunities for younger guys. In all of my experiences, when dry powder was available for and it was an opportunity for young guys, it never turned out well. Not once.
Not a good thing.
No, it's usually not a good thing.
They don't just like shut up. Just shut up.
It just makes no sense. Just like to not spend the money and just be like, well, it's an opportunity for young guys. So maybe like if you were the Houston Texans and rebuilding, like why would you spend the money now? But you're not, like your quarterback's in his prime.
It's like Stephen Jones today. They asked him about free agency in the offseason. He's like, I absolutely love what we did this offseason, especially in free agency. They signed James Washington.
Ooh, I like.
Yeah, I do.
But I get your point.
And what's his name from Atlanta?
Keanu Neal?
No, he's gone.
Julio?
No.
Calvin Ridley?
He's hold on.
Remember him?
Who?
Calvin Ridley.
Oh yeah. Oh, Dante Fowler.
Oh yeah.
Dante Fowler and James Washington. Those are the free agents.
If you quiz me hard enough, I would have not remembered that he was on the Falcons to begin with.
And then they re-signed Leighton Vander Esch.
Congrats. Yeah. No, but think about it. You also franchise tagged Dalton Schultz, and he hated it. So that counts as a free agency signing.
Dorrance Armstrong. Cool. Dry powder. These guys are such. It's like, so my Cowboys insider, Matt Yost, my buddy, was talking to me today, and it's just like, he's so diehard like me. He's like, I'm just like done. He goes, I'm so sick of this team. They're becoming so hard to root for. He even told, he's like, just let your daughter be an Eagles fan. Her life will be easier. This is such a clown franchise.
I wouldn't start here in terms of like happiness. Like if you were ranking happiness, I wouldn't start here. No. We're definitely not in the bottom 16, but we're not in the top 5.
No. Or just mental health.
Mental health, we are bottom 6.
Yeah.
We are bottom 6.
I just, quotes like that, I've got nothing for it.
Yeah. That, you guys kind of quote, like I said, you guys quote yourself back in the spotlight, and it's not great. Yep. So it kills the energy of what is a talented team just because you hear these guys and you're like, wow. If you're going in the battle, this is not who I want to lead us.
No.
All positive vibes. Let's do this though.
Yep.
I think we want to talk a little bit about our teams, what's going on with us, aside from just the quotes that our coaches and our front office put out.
Yep.
So we're looking at 3 storylines for our teams this year. We want to look at just 1, an overall storyline, 2, a position battle of interest, and 3, the bubble. maybe some guys that's going to open some eyes if they get cut.
Yep.
So I think both of us respectively have one of each of those things for our teams.
Yep.
So I don't know how you want to play it, if we want to give our storylines first or go through all three at once. But
yeah, why don't we do storylines? We'll go tennis match. Bing,
cool.
bang, bing,
yeah,
bang.
I like that. Would you like to go first since you just talked about the storyline of free agency?
Yeah. So I'm going to make the top storyline right now, and I think it's going to be played out all season and then into next offseason. And this is kind of Jerry Jones is doing it to himself, even though he opened the press conference today kind of praising him. It's the coaching staff and where Mike McCarthy is now, where Mike McCarthy is going to be later in the season, where Mike McCarthy is going to be next season. Kellen
Not
Moore, Dan Quinn. Like, they technically have 3 head coaches here. But it's like you got 2 quarterbacks, you've got none. So, and do they have the right guy if they have all 3 of those guys in the head position? So, it's crazy to me that we're only going into the second year of Mike McCarthy. It feels like we're going to year like 7.
I legitimately thought it was 3. This is just 2.
This is his second year. Last year was his first year, and they won the division. They won 12 games. He's on the hot seat. It's because they were so undisciplined last year. They looked so bad in time management situations, which he has his entire career as a head coach. And they had this emergence of Dan Quinn and the defense and how well they played and how this team rallied around Dan Quinn and these guys wanted to play for him. And then he was interviewing with every single team in the NFL, it seemed like. And then he decided to stay as the defensive coordinator as the Dallas Cowboys. And now people in Dallas are rumoring, is he going to take over next year as the head coach? Then there's Kellen Moore, who is this boy genius, Wonderlic guy. He was going to be the next head coach in waiting, kind of like Jason Garrett was. But then the offense kind of fell off. He had interviews. Apparently he doesn't interview well. He's not ready to be a head coach. It's just going to be a shit show of a story for the entire season. And you know what? Jerry Jones did this to himself, like he always does.
And congrats to Sean Payton, future head coach of the Dallas
I'm
Cowboys.
okay with that.
Yeah, I would not be as an Eagles fan. I think he would be a great coach. He was a great coach for the Saints, and I think he would torment us if he was the coach of the Cowboys. And just like having general competence with your team would be really annoying for us.
You mean like knowing where the clock is in the stadium?
Like maybe not running play up the middle with your season on the line and no timeouts and 12 seconds left. I just spitballing ideas of what he could do differently.
Thank you for bringing that back.
Anytime. I'll bring it up every chance I get. It will never not be funny.
Just forgot about it.
It's just it's the inside joke in your friend group that will never not be funny if somebody brings it up. It's the break glass in case of emergency that it'll be funny.
So that's my top storyline. There's obviously a ton. Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. There's a ton of storylines. How's the defense going to respond? Obviously, Trayvon Diggs coming off a career year, 12 interceptions last year. So many storylines. Can this team repeat? Dak Prescott, again, his first full year, I guess you could say, fully healthy, hopefully. A full year removed from the injury. So there's just so many storylines. Last year, even the storyline in camp, Dak was coming off the injury and then hurt his shoulder. Remember, he didn't even play really in camp. So, and storylines are going to pop up like this. Next week, I guarantee it's going to be a different story. So that's my first week of camp kind of storyline because also nothing's really happened yet. So
true. So for mine, I know what's going to be, like you said, what your storyline is going to be. It's going to be the coaching staff. I know what mine will be, but I wanted to shake it up a little bit. I know it's going to be Jalen Hurts the entire season. Can he develop into a tried and true NFL starting quarterback? But I'm looking at the guys protecting him. I think you bring this up all the time and say the Cowboys is not the 2016 offensive line anymore. I think this offensive line could have 2016 Cowboys offensive line potential. Jason Kelce was an all-pro last year, but, he's a little longer too. This could be the last season. Lane Johnson has been all pro before. Does he do that again? If he stays healthy? Jordan Mailata, does he become an all pro? And does he take that next step? And you have two guys in Mailata and Landon Dickerson who played well, flashed incredible promise, incredible potential, look like starters for sure, especially Mailata in the NFL, the surefire starting left tackle for your next 4 or 5 years. Do those guys take that next step? Both of them have different leaps that you can make. And then also Isaac Seumalo coming back from injury. Where does he fall into this? And then you've got do they trade Andre Dillard, Jack Driscoll? What do they do with him? Is it Driscoll? Is it Seumalo? So I think there's a lot of questions on the offensive line, but I also think that could be the strongest unit on the entire team.
You say that and look at your defensive line.
That's true. That's what I mean, though. I love the defensive line, and I'm so glad Brandon Graham's back. I think Josh Sweat will have another incredible season. I would marry Jordan Davis if I could. They would look a little weird, probably us two together. But I really think this offensive line has battle tested guys, has guys that proved themselves last year and can continue to prove themselves and take that next leap. And just even maybe our next thing we're going to talk about is position battles, but I could go right back to offensive line for it. So there's a lot of storylines within one group, and I think that they are a really strong group.
Yep. No, I agree. I am fearful of that line this year going against it. And the ability for them to having a good offensive line is going to help a guy like Jalen Hurts so much.
Yeah, I was about to say,
likes to run the ball, keep the pocket clean when he is throwing, and the ability to hopefully run the rock with Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah, exactly. So it's if you want your quarterback to succeed, put him around successful units like a good offensive line. If he's running for his life, you're not really ever going to find out if he's good or not.
2016, who won Rookie of the Year?
Zach Martin win it or Zeke?
Zach won it behind that hell of an offense. But either of them could have won it thanks to that offensive line.
There you go.
Love it. Hate it. All right. So we're going to position battle groups, right?
Correct.
So for the Dallas Cowboys, it's clear. I think it's quarterback, right? Obviously, Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, Will Greer, and Ben DiNucci. No, just kidding. But there are a lot of interesting position battles here. I'm just going to name a few, and then I'll narrow it down. So one that people may say no, I think it's running back. I mean, Zeke and Pollard. I have been banging the Pollard drum for years now. I think he deserves more touches, whether it be in the pass game, whether it be in the run game. I don't think it's going to be too much of a battle, though. I think, Zeke's still going to get the bulk of the carry. I think this is going to be Zeke's last year in Dallas, so he is going to get the rock. Center, I think, needs to be a big position battle. I don't know if it's going to be. I think they're pretty tied into Tyler Biadasz, or as the Jones boys say, Badass. But I think it needs to be, because Matt Forniak played really well when he had times last year. They love him in the building. He's one of those first guys in, last guy out, gym rat warrior, and he actually brings it to the field. And then they also signed Alec Lindstrom, the rookie from Boston College this year, for an undrafted free agent signing, and he was phenomenal in college. So I would love to see that be a position battle. I just don't know if with this coaching staff it's going to be. You can say linebacker as well, because Jabril Cox coming back. How are they going to play Micah Parsons? Leighton Vander Esch is there. So we'll see. They brought Luke Gifford back. We'll see. But I'm going to go to wide receiver, because it's obviously not 1 and 2, or even 3 really, because those are kind of locked up. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb is the new wide receiver 1. Michael Gallup's going to be their wide receiver 2 when he comes back and healthy. We don't know if it's going to be 1 game, 2 game, 3 game off the ACL injury. We don't know. And then there's Jalen Tolbert, who they drafted this season. He is expected to be a starter week 1, whether that be wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. But then, it's the other guys. James Washington, who they draft or who they signed this year, who you like. I have heard from, Pittsburgh fans that they feel like he has a chance to thrive in Dallas, especially in the deep ball. They just didn't have quarterbacks that could throw the deep ball to him. So, and then there's, Noah Brown, who's been here forever. I think he's a bubble guy. Semi Fehoko, who they drafted last year out of Stanford, who is a big-bodied, fast receiver. TJ Vasher. So they've got a lot of guys that are going to be battling for that 3rd, 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th spot. They lost Amari Cooper, obviously. They lost, Cedric Wilson, obviously. So they need guys to step up. So I'm very, very interested to see who emerges. And if not a lot of guys emerge, do they go out and sign one of these guys like, Odell Beckham, T.Y. Hilton, Cole Beasley type. So I'm very interested to see after 1, 2, and 3 how the wide receiving core shapes out.
That is foreshadowing for things that I'm going to bring up later about the Eagles, about after 1, 2, and 3, how it shakes out. But my fear is just that they bring in Odell Beckham and it's like, problem solved. This is no longer a position battle. This is just a great, strong position.
Yep.
For now, I think it was a position that was strong with Amari and CeeDee Lamb. And you said, that's a great 1-2 punch. And then Michael Gallup is a fantastic, like when he's in that 3 role, and even Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson, like 4 and 5. So like they had the strongest, like 1 through 5 receiving core in the league. Yep. And that kind of disappeared without Amari. So I kind of hope it stays that way. And the guys just don't take the next step. So that'd be great for us.
Thank you.
On our side, I'm going to keep it simple and sweet. I've talked about this guy many, many times, so might as well stick with it. Nakobe Dean in the linebacker position versus TJ Edwards and just this whole linebacker core in general. So you have some names and you really don't know what to expect from a lot of them. Davion Taylor is coming off of injury. Where does he fall in? He was starting to finally put things together. Then he gets hurt. Davion Taylor is, we've talked about it before. I would like if we drafted people who did play football before we drafted them. That would be great, but hopefully he does start to put it together. So you've got him, Kazir White, signing of the offseason. I think that was the most underrated. We've talked about Hassan Reddick, technically a linebacker, but he's really an edge rusher, so I don't know how he falls in. So to me, you're looking at linebackers, and you say Kazir's definitely going to start if he's healthy. You've got Davion Taylor there who can help. TJ Edwards has been sturdy. It's just like, when does Nakobe surpass these guys? Is it right away? Will he be ready day one to actually do that? Does he get thrust in just because they believe in him more than these other guys? Yep. I don't know. So that's the position battle to watch. I think it'll be an improved linebacker core, but there's still some question marks there, which question marks lead to position battles.
Love it. I hate it again, but I love your analysis of it.
That was such a great, just, like we got Nakobe Dean. Like when I'm having a bad day, I have my Greek yogurt bar, and I think I have Nakobe Dean in my life.
And Jordan Davis.
And Jordan Davis.
I give it all to our mock drafts in the offseason. You willed this to happen.
I know. I feel I was exhausted after April. I did every mock draft. I mocked Jordan Davis to us, and I talked about Nakobe Dean on every single one. And I did this. I
really
feel
appreciate
like
the rat being a subscriber to our YouTube channel.
Yes. Did I tell you? Oh, not a rat. Did I tell you I have a squirrel live in my dryer?
No.
Oh, that might be a story for another day. Yeah. There's a squirrel living in the dryer.
Can you dry your clothes?
No. They're at my neighbor's house right now.
Huh.
Swear to God.
Where's the dryer?
Right over there. We can go. I'll knock on the door, see if he's home. You can hear it. Like if you knock on it, it's like a front door. Like, hey, you home, buddy?
Amazon.
Listen, so the dryer repairman comes, and he goes over to see, because I didn't know that there was a squirrel living in there. Mm-hmm. It was just making a horrible sound. I was like, this is not right. So he goes to press the button, and you can just hear it, like skittering around in there. And he goes, I think there's a squirrel in there. I'm like, yeah, no shit, man. Thanks. He's like, well, that'll be $158. I'm like, yeah, thanks for the analysis of a squirrel. Like, I could have done this before.
So you're getting animal control to come, or are you?
That's a whole nother story that we can't even go down, but we can't get anybody to come out and deal with it. But we go outside.
You can just adopt it like Vince does.
Yeah, well, Vince, you have a bunch of animals. You want the squirrel?
Yeah.
And he says no. Well, you know, if I can get it out, it's got to go somewhere. All I could think about was Christmas Vacation. He's like, where the hell is Eddie? Doesn't he eat these things?
Oh, God. Poor
I
Aidan.
don't know. Rat reminded me of squirrel because they're both on my nerves. And yeah, I have a squirrel living in the house. But we went outside to figure out where the dryer vent was.
Yep.
Thing was poking his head out like Amazon was at the door. Like we woke him up like he had a package. Like, are you kidding me? Just looking at us.
He's like, yeah.
He's like,
me.
you rang?
Sleep
I'm like,
here.
you are living at my house rent free. I already derailed us, but if this is your first time,
Can you please find? You need to get a video of the squirrel.
I have it.
Okay, and then put it the audio on. You probably don't get these because of your Instagram algorithm. My algorithm has turned to just baby shit.
Oh.
It used to be hot girls and travel stuff. Now it's just babies. And there's one that's like, show me somebody who lives in your house rent free, and it's always like someone showing the baby. You need to do that. Make the video with the squirrel.
Yeah. I'll send you guys a video. You knock. It's literally like having a front door. You knock on the dryer door. You can hear it run. Like, hey, you home, buddy? Unreal. So
right,
that's my position battle is linebacker.
Let's get to a couple guys we think might be on the bubble here. I have a few. So I'm going to start with Tristan Hill, the defensive tackle who they drafted from Central Florida, 51 overall a couple years ago. I mean, he's been injured. He's been out of shape. He has shown flashes. He did show some flashes last year. He's a hustle guy. I hate that he doesn't wear gloves. When he's running really fast and he's trying to tackle somebody and he has no gloves on. It just looks kind of funny and weird.
Bad luck.
But I mean, they have Neville Gallimore at tackle, Carlos Watkins, Oso Odighizuwa had a great rookie season last year. Quentin Bohanna, big dude out of Kentucky, they also drafted last year. And then they have John Ridgway from Arkansas, that big badass motherfucker who already got kicked out of a mandatory minicamp practice for wanting to fight people. So I think that Tristan Hill is going to be the odd man out here, as well as, you know, I was just talking about wide receivers. I think it's going to be Noah Brown. I do like Noah Brown. He's been on the team a long time. He's a great special teams guy. He is that good number 5, number 6 receiver. He'll get you a catch down the field every now and then. He's never scored a touchdown in his career. But we saw what happened last year when he had to step up to be that number 2, number 3 type guy when Amari was out with COVID and then CD got the concussion. And it was Gallup and Cedric and Noah Brown, and it was just drop city, no production. And now you have guys like James Washington, Jalen Tolbert. I think they really do want to give a shot to Semi Fehoko, who they drafted last year. TJ Vasher, I think, is going to have a really good camp. So I think Noah Brown's going to be right on the bubble. And we'll see if he gets practice squatted, if he'll take that, or if another team will try and snatch him up. So I think those are my two big, not big name, but guys who have been on the team for a couple of years that may not be on the team heading into 22.
Speaking of names that are big and have been on the team but might not be there in 2022 who play receiver, mine is easy. It's Jalen Reagor. This is going to be bubble watch all off season long, whether they cut him or I think best case scenario, he has a decent camp and you can trade him for a late round pick if that's even possible. I don't think you can get off his cap hit altogether, no matter what. So that'll be interesting. But the core 4 is pretty much set. Devontae, A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins is your 3, and you've got Zach Pascal. There's your 4. And then you start thinking, like, is Reagor the 5? Is it even worth it for him to be the 5? You got Greg Ward, he's like the local bar where if nothing more fun is available, you just go there. And
it's
always
always
there.
reliable.
Yeah, it's always reliable. It's always there. You know what you're going to get. Is it going to be the time of your life? No, but you know that they have cold beer. Sometimes that's all you need. So he'll probably be wide receiver 5. And for Reagor, like, does he even want to be here? I feel like he's a guy who he's needed a fresh start, and maybe he can salvage his career somewhere else. I just think since Justin Jefferson took the field, it was never going to work here.
Never.
It just was never going to work. So maybe like if he gets traded to the Texans, it works there. Who knows?
And
but
good
it's not
for him.
going to work here.
Yeah, it's never going to work. They just don't even bring him to camp.
No, I mean, yeah, this is going to be the bubble storyline all offseason. Not offseason, just all training camp. His preseason games will be under the radar. Like, they're not going to play A.J. Brown in games. So Reagor is going to get snaps in preseason games. But does he play well? And if he does play well, what does that mean? Is it even worth it for him to be on the team if he plays well? Can you trade him? Do you cut him if he doesn't? It's interesting. It's going to be the storyline.
And it's going to also be a good storyline on social media because he gets angry.
It'll be a disaster. Yeah. It started. I saw people talking about it today. They didn't even walk into camp yet. A.J. Brown wasn't even there in his hurt season hat before they were talking about Jalen Reagor and if he was going to make the cut.
What about that new big-bodied tight end you got?
I hope he gets cut too. Just cut the losers. I've been saying it about the Phillies for so long. Just like get rid of everybody who was a part of the losing years.
Wait, can we put that on a shirt?
Get rid of the losers?
Cut the losers.
Cut the losers. Yeah.
That's a shirt.
Cut the losers.
That's a shirt. And I could see that right now in Kelly Green.
Just cut the
Those
losers.
would fly at tailgates.
Speaking
of tailgates.
Possibly.
Investors,
possibly.
Could be you.
Could be you.
No, yeah, it is. That's I think both those guys will be gone.
Yeah, me too.
So you'll have some drops and some offensive PIs leaving the team.
Yeah, great. See ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. So yeah, those are my 3 storylines. I've got the offensive line as my major storyline, position battle. I've got linebacker with Nakobe and TJ Edwards, and then the bubble watch is on with Jalen Reagor.
So we say to the bubble guys. If you're
was that you?
Yeah.
With the CD Lamb thing? I didn't know what was going on.
Waving goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right. I don't really have much more in terms of Cowboy stuff, just because, like we said, camps just started and they're just getting there. Oxnard, California. I am angry about one thing with camp. So they are in Oxnard, California, right? I've always wanted to go to camp, but I'm always like, every year I'm like, I'm not just flying to California to go to 2 or 3 days of training camp. Like if it when it was at Lehigh for you guys or whatever, that's close. You can just go.
It was the best.
So it was never an option. But of course, the one year I win a trip to California for work, I'm going to be an hour and a half from camp. I can't extend my trip because I have a child now. So I'm going to be an hour and a half from camp, not be able to go.
Man, the whole kid thing is really coming back to bite you.
Thank
Did you keep the receipt?
Yeah, I don't think we can return this one. Can't return it. She's too cute. Vince, I don't know if I might have a kid. I'm not sure. So do we? Do you have anything before we get into our TikTok?
Nope, I'm ready to do the TikTok. I'm ready to be back on the TikTok comments arguing with 12-year-olds. There's a vast emptiness in my life, and I don't think it's a relationship thing. I think it's not being able to argue with 12-year-olds over football on TikTok.
We need it.
I need it.
It's how we live.
Well, let's get you those 12-year-olds you so crave. And
I'll make my username Little Kid Lover. Everyone will know where my priorities lie.
All right, so tell the people what we do here on the TikTok.
Well, I'll tell you what, Vince just made quite the introduction. So Vince is our producer. If you haven't been here before, if you're new to season 3, he joins us for the TikTok where we do a ranking every week. And today, we don't have real football to argue about yet and rank yet, but I think we do have a pretty good topic. Everybody's unveiling their new uniforms and new helmets. A lot of teams have come out with their alternate helmets that they finally get to debut in 2022. So we are going to rank the ones that have come out so far. We are going to do our top 5 each. So whenever you guys are ready, our normal triangle, I'll go first. We'll go to Kevin, and then we'll go to Vince. So you let me know, and we'll get it started.
Let's roll.
All right. So at 5, I have the Texans. I think it's just the red. I think it's just a nice little change up for them from the blue. It's one of those things where they remind me of a bad Pac-12 team where you're like, I'm not tuning in to watch them play football for quality, but if they look cool, I might keep the game on for a while. That's what these helmets remind me of with the Texans.
5 for me, it's the Bears, that orange helmet. Kind of same thing for you with the Texans instead of the blue helmet. That orange is really going to pop. I don't like it with the entire orange uniform that I think it's going to be going with, because then they look like weird creamsicle men running around playing football. But the orange, I think the orange helmet with the blue jersey would really pop. And like you said, it's just such a change, and I like the brightness of the orange. So I'm going Bears 5.
Yeah, I also have the Bears at 5. Justin Fields is going to look real fast while he's running for his fucking life every week.
Mm-hmm.
And that orange.
You see his receiving core? So bad.
It's so bad.
So bad.
It's like them and the Ravens. I don't like. Are they even going to throw the ball? They don't have anyone to throw the ball to.
No. So
we have
bad.
AJ Brown.
And both those teams also spent almost nothing on their offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
It's
Bears.
like, we got a quick guy back there. We need to spend money on protection and passing options for it.
Nah. Why not? All right. At 4, I have the Falcons. Theirs is a little stylistically a little bit different. It's like that chrome matte where it's not shiny. So I really like that. And, I am all in favor of the Falcons just changing everything that they do. Just anything that was associated with you when you were up 28-3, get rid of it. Your quarterback, your wide receiver, your jerseys, you built a new stadium. Just get rid of everything.
Kill it all.
So yes to the new helmets.
All right. So 4 for me, it's the Bengals white helmet. It's kind of sort of just like the regular orange ones, but white. I feel like the black and white really pops. Joey Burrow is going to look really cool in that helmet. And Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Number 4, I have the Patriots. It's just a really good throwback. Everyone just appreciates a good throwback helmet. The Eagles need to bring that back, but we'll get there.
Maybe. All right. At 3, I have the Carolina Panthers. So I think Carolina has underrated uniforms when they wear the black. And this is just a nice little touch to that to make it all black. I love all black uniforms in football. Yes, this is foreshadowing for what's to come in these rankings, but just a little bit of love to the Carolina Panthers. Like, they have a cool color scheme as it is, and I think this is a nice little touch with the black helmets and the Panther on the side.
3 for me, it's the old school Dallas Cowboys white helmet. The only reason I'm not putting it at 1 is so I don't be called a homer and a loser on Twitter or on TikTok by 12-year-olds. So they have 2. They have 2 of the white helmets, the color rush ones and then the throwback ones. I like them both, but I'm going with the throwback one here that goes with those old school Thanksgiving jerseys that they wear. Just classic. That just solid blue star, doesn't have the white around it, so I enjoy it very much.
Well, real quick, so I can just kind of differentiate in my head. Which is the one that you guys wear when you get skull fucked in front of everybody's families on Thanksgiving all the time?
Listen, they've been wearing the color rush jerseys on Thanksgiving. When they wear the throwbacks, they usually win.
Thank you for differentiating for me.
You're welcome.
All right, number 3, I have the Bengals. I can just see them.
And they went to overtime this year on Thanksgiving. You may continue.
All right, number 3, I have the Bengals. I can just see them like smoking somebody, and then Joe Burrow just sitting shirtless in his locker room with just the white helmet on, like his giant gold chain. It's just cool for maybe the second coolest team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. At 2, I've got the Eagles. I love these black helmets. Again, black uniforms in football are just cool. When you wear all black uniforms during primetime games, they look awesome. I love our black uniforms, but I wasn't a fan of the green helmets with the black uniforms. I didn't think that color scheme really worked. So now that you're going all black and have that potential, I think that's going to look great.
I think that helmet looks exactly like their midnight green helmet.
But it's black.
Yeah, just okay. Yeah. Their black jerseys are cool. The helmet, whatever.
Makes it all black. Uniform black.
Yep, cool. 2 for me is the Patriots. Just like Vince said, that's such a classic throwback. I love the Patriot guy, 3-point stance on the helmet. Another guy, I think Mac Jones is going to look super cool because he's such a cool guy wearing that helmet. Speaking of
a
another
sack of milk and a cool helmet.
Another wide receiving core. Who's he throwing the ball to this year?
Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Nelson Aguilar going to look really cool in this helmet. Patriots, 2 for me.
2 for me. I have the Eagles. I hate everything about the Eagles' current brand kit. I hate the midnight green. I hate the logo. I just hate everything. So whatever you can change, just change it.
Fair enough.
Midnight
so
green.
I'm a big fan of
ugly.
It's a terrible color. Big fan of the logo change just because it's not the current logo. Just get rid of everything.
All right. Wow.
How they just don't switch to Kelly Green just blows my mind.
Maybe.
Everyone wants it.
Yep.
I mean, that team too in Kelly Green every week takes you to the next level of coolness. So.
Get rid of the stupid bird. They change.
They're the Eagles, Vince. What are we gonna do if we're not a bird?
A cooler looking eagle. It doesn't have to be that stupid bird. It could be a different stupid bird.
Different stupid eagle. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
Less stupid eagle.
They can't have the old logo be like the
Vince is
a terrorist. Go back to that, but modernize the old logo somehow. It'll be so much better.
Okay. All right. At 1, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. This is icy shit. Like, they're just going to come out all white, and Jamar Chase is going to look so fast, go off for 200 yards. This is the perfect timing for it. They've never been cool in their entire existence. They're coming off of a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback. They've got a top 5 wide receiver. This is the first time in their existence that they are cool on the field, so give them something cool to wear. This icy all white with the helmet, they're going to look so fresh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love it. All right, 1 for me, it's the Atlanta Falcons. Like you said, it's that matte, but it's also the throwback. This reminds me of like the Dirty Bird days, Jamal Anderson running the ball when they were really good. They were going to the Super Bowl, and they were rocking those red helmets. I think Kyle Pitts is going to look super cool, super fast in this red helmet. And, I mean, obviously the Raiders screwed up by getting rid of what should be their starting quarterback. So Marcus Mariota going to look really fast in that helmet.
Number 1, I have the Saints. I think there's nothing like just a good, terrible helmet. It's maybe the worst NFL helmet I've ever seen, and it's just, that makes it great. They're gonna go. I can't even picture the
change their helmet.
It's so bad. The logo isn't.
You just hate the. You just don't.
No,
like
they have a new one. It's terrible.
Oh, they have a new one. You just don't like the new one either.
It's so bad. The logo's not in the right spot. They have like, it looks like the FSU helmets. Like FSU combined with Ohio State's got dots all over it. It's terrible. Jameis Winston's gonna throw 5 interceptions a game.
That was happening regardless of the helmet.
I think my 2 least favorite and the stupidest ones I think are the Cardinals. It just looks like the Cardinals just smacked on a helmet that's all black and shiny. It just doesn't go.
Like it.
And then the
Washington
Washington
looks like the local team. Yeah, it looks like the local team is named the Cardinals.
Yep.
Bought one of the cheapest ones.
Yep.
And then the Washington is just all black with the W in the front. Just doesn't. That's not gonna be good for Carson. He's not.
I don't even count that as like an alternate helmet though. They're a new team.
Yeah,
like
true.
Everything they do is alternate.
Yep.
Yeah.
They poop falls on their fans.
I'm going to the game.
Are you?
Week 3, yeah, in FedEx Field.
And
good luck.
Are you wearing a Wentz jersey?
To be determined.
You're like one of those journalists that goes over to like North Korea.
Can you please be one of those people that cuts a jersey in half and
wears both?
Yeah.
Like he was my son.
Yep.
My sons are on both.
Basically is.
Pretty much. Or he's my dad.
All right, Vincent, thank you very much.
I'll find the Saints helmet real quick. Hold on. I just have to prove myself. They tweeted.
You're the one who has to edit it afterwards, so
I don't care. This is the point where I stop listening. How cool.
Oh, I didn't realize that it was like all like little logos going.
I can't tell if I like it or dislike it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I again have a propensity for liking black helmets, but I don't know how I feel about this one.
I think this would be better if it was matte black.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know how to feel.
And that kind of looks like a.
I need them.
It's bad. That's how you
That,
should.
that looks
I
like
need
a
to
bad
see them
polo.
win or lose before I decide if I like them or not.
Jameis Winston will do something cool wearing it.
Probably
not.
Kamara might.
Eating W's, man.
Eating W's. Well, good to be back. This was fun.
We are fully back, ladies and gentlemen. Aidan, good to see you. Carl, good to see you. I actually, I'm going to end the show on a funny story. So, was walking in my car the other day. There was an older lady with a little puppy. The puppy was really cute and it just sat down and kept looking at me from across the street, and like she couldn't get it to go. So I was like, "Oh, what's the dog's name?" And she's like, "They named him Carl." I don't know. And I was like, so I got down real close to the dog. I said, "Carl, good to see you." She got very confused. I mean, that's how you have to, right?
Yeah. I was just saying, you pulled the right reference. Yeah.
Obviously. All right. So, and that's what you get here at Birds vs. Boys. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube. If you haven't yet, make sure you smash that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Head over to Twitter. Follow us on Birds vs. Boys Pod. TikTok as well, where you can find those weekly TikToks and fight with us in the comments. And then you can listen to us anywhere podcasts are. Apple, Spotify, Google, we're everywhere. So tell your friends, tell your family. If it's your first time, if you're a long time, spread the word, help us grow. It's not only going to be better for us, it's going to be better for you. Help us, help me, help you. Right? Is
Help
that
me in
Jeremy
general.
Clark?
Help me.
We'll be back next week. So moving forward, once a week shows, and then once the season comes, we will do our weekly show. And then Aidan and I will each do a reaction pod after the Eagles and Cowboys games. Enjoy your week. Training camp is here. Football is back.